Welcome to another Behind the Boards, Under the Hood, Behind the Beat with me, Jawn Doe. Uh, Welcome to the stream. I've been streaming with the Octatrack now. Oh, cool. If you're tuning in now, that's what I do. If you're just getting here, that's what I do. Cool. Now we're going to get under the hood on some of my latest releases. I'm going to do two. I'm going to knock out two this time, so we're going to fly through them. But I'm going to show you guys my presets, my mixing, my mastering, thoughts, and approach. It's a really simple track. It's called Dark Room. And I think I started with this Omnisphere patch. And it was just it was a preset Ballerina 2. I think it's in like the Atmosphere folder maybe on this initial patch browser. Just a regular preset. Oh, it was probably an arpeggio. Yeah. Ballerina 2. I may have messed with the arpeggio. I'll do that sometimes. I don't remember. So I started with that. I got it pitched up one because sometimes I'll mess with the pitch to see if that enhances the vibe. But I didn't do much to it. I cut the bottom off. I put a dynamic filter on the 300 area and controlled it with the CLA 3A. That was my start. And I pulled in this Rhodes loop. I think it's just 2 chords. Yeah, it's got a little vocal chop in there and a lot of dust. Let's see, it had so much dust on it. That's the thing about a lot of samples these days is you can tell that guys are cranking the EQ curve up on it. So when you run it through a limiter, it will like, boom, put everything right in your face. And it really makes the digital tops present. So I find myself cutting the highs out of things more than anything, especially using splice samples or any samples really these days. So I like Pro MB. This is a real transparent way to bring the highs down. It's not going to change the character at all. So I got some of that dust under control, and I automated some infiltrator on parts on the turnarounds. So you'll hear in this intro. You get a nice transition effect. It sounds like a molten lava or something. Yeah, so comes in with those two elements, and then drum tops start coming in. Yeah. So, real simple. I use this drum loop. It's probably from Splice. I don't think I did anything to it. It comes in and I drop it out to introduce the melody. I'm trying to hook the listener's ear. In hindsight, it's a little repetitive, but you can get away with it again with this type of music. But this is the hook. The melody, it's kind of moving. I did a lot to it actually. If you look, what I started with was this Omnisphere uh, Chip Punk Lead 3. And then I broke this down before in other streams, but if you go into Omnisphere and you open an empty oscillator, if you click in there, it's a whole sample library. So I went in there and I dug up this thing, Chip Punk Lead 3. And I like these because it sounds like a really lo-fi synth, like a cheap thing. This is it by itself. Already dope. But it does need some character. So I started with, let's see, with some Infiltrator. Throat singing. Oh, actually, it's bypassed. I'm not even using that. That's on there for no reason. Hilarious. But the old Ableton filter, I made this in 2024, so the new one wasn't out yet. I'm sure that would change it, but just a hard cut around 1K. Some resonance. You know, with the digital music, it's helpful to cut the tops off, and then decapitator for some character. Shaped it a little more with Pro 3. Pro Q3, and then these things are great, man. I don't hear people talking about these. Unfiltered audio, plugin alliance, shout out. $16 a month, I think. You can have everything you need, and these are sick. It's obvious vinyl effect. Just the preset. I'll mess with these a little bit, maybe the mix knob. And then more Infiltrator. Fluid. Excuse me. Allergies. Fluid motion. That really brought it to life, in my opinion. And then I controlled it with a little CLA 3A. Kind of brings out that it sounds like it's coming out of a robot's mouth. See, by itself, it's like it's cool, but it's like a childhood recorder or something. But this really puts it in a cool space. And then we bring in the rest of the drums. A real simple program. I just kind of followed that top line. Put the kick where it felt right. I got the real simple rim shot. Some stomps on every third kick. No processing on these drums, really. They were just good as is. With the top loop, I cut off the lows and then controlled some of this. Excuse me, I don't want to be coughing into the mic. I got allergies. But one technique I learned, this is from an OG. I don't know if he wants me to say his name, so I won't, but let's say you find a digital frequency up here, especially with drum sounds, and it's just something that needs to be ducked. Like in the highs, like I was saying, digital music, it's going to suffer in the highs. So if you can balance that, you're going to, it's, I mean, you want to balance everything, but like you don't want to be ripping people's ears out. Let's say right here needs to be dipped. If you go up an octave, even twice, you can get a lot of good results. It's almost like a comb filter. But for I don't know the exact science behind it, but I know that's a technique. It works really good on the master. But I thought it was just there was something really. It's that like there's a lot of dust and fuzz in the samples I picked, and it was just too much, and it was fighting. And that technique worked right now. And again, I used Pro MB to bring the tops down a little bit, and even Goldfoss. I don't use this that much, but this track needed it. And I actually grouped these together. It was more for automation on like turnarounds, but I guess I put the Studer drum bus on there. Before controlled the hi-hats a little with the soothe. I made this a while ago. I don't know if I would have made that decision now, but hey, it got the track across the finish line. You got to know when to call it quits or when it's done. You could tweak these forever. But this infiltrator acid distortion, it's just sort of a effect thing I made. This acid distortion is a great Ableton preset. Sounds awesome. But I just automated when it would come on. I don't think it comes on until halfway into the next verse. But it creates some nice variation. It makes the drums talk. I used ring mod in Infiltrator and acid distortion controlled. I went crazy with the Pro Q3. I probably wouldn't need to do that now, but it's whatever the situation calls for, I guess. That's the result. Oh, and then the bass came in. Well, the bass comes in, and I drop out the melody. The bass is a Reese bass in Serum. Oh, Mother Acid. I don't even know. From Cymatics. I never use their stuff, man. That's rare. They do have good stuff, dude. I tend to not look through it. Cool vocal trick. This was kind of created a B part. The pattern stayed the same, but I used a lot of audio effects to keep the song interesting on the B parts. This cool vocal effect. I think I did something similar last stream. Let's see. This was what I started with. Cool, but could be cooler. It's in the right key. So I put Decapitator on it. Gives it more presence, makes it dirtier. A little Ableton reverb. With a really long decay, decay all the way up, because I'm gonna play with that. And then I got this Serum Effects patch, beautiful gate. Some Decimort, make it dirty so it fits with the rest of the song. I don't know if I had this on the utility. I monoed it maybe. Yeah, I monoed it because I wanted to put it in Panman. Because sometimes Panman will create phase and problems later on. But I find if I mono the signal and then throw it into Panman, I got a lot more control. Because I wanted it going back and forth in the speakers. And I think this is a good example of that. Because if I turn off this utility tool, it's a lot messier. But when I turn it back on, it's like, see where that bar is jumping around? I hear that too. But when it was in stereo, it was like the signals were crossing and creating phase. And then I turned on the LA2A just to crush it, making things fit, I guess. And distorting it, warming up the highs, the little saturation, cutting those back down, putting it almost in a telephone. So I got a lot of stuff going on, in the highs with this track, a lot of dirt. And then ozone. Yeah, ozone to spread it out. And then utility to sort of, I think this, yeah, automate the volume so that it's not overpowering things. See? And this is how it sounds in context. Yeah, so I created another instance of this, the two chords that kind of are the foundation, and I just put them through a gate. I think variable rate gating preset in Infiltrator, and it created a cool little B part. Just changed the vibe a little, and then I like this a lot. Shout out Mr. Carmack, dude. If you don't have his splice pack, that thing is sick, and that dude's awesome. Big inspiration. I don't even know what this is, a lead loop thing, and I just mangled it. On its own, it sounds like this. Yeah, it's like a perfect little trap thing. This is it. Sick sound. So I chopped it up. And I threw some stuff on it. We got lo-fi AF, unfiltered audio. The preset is called low bitrate. Kind of puts it in the same universe as everything else. This glitch rhythm preset. I got to get into the Ableton updates. I'm like still in Ableton 9 in my head. This is a really cool preset. Created such a cool, yeah, it's like a modular synth or something. So dope. And then I threw Decimort on there. And what I like to do with Decimort a lot of times, especially in these instances, is I'll automate different parts of it. I'm automating the frequency here. See that? I love doing that. It just creates interesting sounds. And then I controlled it. Oh, hard cut with the Pro Q3 because I was getting a lot of low end information from that Ableton preset. Because it really was just an additive thing. It's kind of ear candy. And then CLA 3A to really bring it out. So before, I mean, on its own it sounds better, but in context, because this really is just, it's ear candy. It's not supposed to grab your attention really. It's supposed to be in the background. That's cool, man. It sounds like a robot with spit bubbles coming out of its mouth. And that's basically it. And I did that thing that I did with the last track, which is, I don't know if it's smart or dumb in 2025, but I love doing this. You just put like a little treat at the end of the song that people don't expect, like a whole new vocal thing. Or maybe I ended up taking it out. Oh, I did. I did end up taking it out. I'm getting ahead of myself. First, there's a drop. Let's get to that. Yeah, and that drop, it's just a Reese bass, a new one. No processing. Classic Reese from Cashmere. Powerful basses. Didn't do anything to it, man. You know, looking back, I'd like to change this up. I'd probably change a couple things with this track. But it's out. I released it. That's basically it, man. I had these vocals in there, but I ended up taking them out. Yeah, I can see why I took them out. They're not quite there. Yeah, and that's the outro. I like doing outros like that because if I decide to play a set with this, if I'm DJing with it, this is something to play with. You know, let's say I'm running this track through my Octatrack and I'm playing live. I can use this and mix it with other stuff. It's just a fun breakbeat to play with at the end, a little nugget. But yeah, that's basically it. Like my other tracks, if you're following the channel, which you should, like, subscribe. Jawn Doe, lots of good information here. like my other beats, I'm running everything through this bus. My head is in the way, but oh no, you can see it. Cool. Just above my head on the screen, that last track is bus. I'll make it bigger. Bam. That one. I got all my tracks going here, and then I send this to a return track in Ableton. See? I call it my SSL parallel mix thing. And I just have these settings up. These are sort of a set it and forget it thing that I have. I bring it into taste, and that's all before I hit my mix out. And that just gives me a lot of presence. It's, things, it elevates a lot, brings out a lot of character, makes it sound fat. For this master, I boosted the gain a little bit so that I was going into God particle where I want to. So I boosted the gain about 270, because without the master, let's see where we're hitting. Yeah, 396, I guess. Yeah, I was going in hot. I wanted to go in hot. Still not clipping though. And this master, much like the other ones, I monoed up to about 74. Took the ghost out around 315. That was, oops, 315. That frequency, when you hear that ghost, that ooh, it causes problems when your track is monoed or played in the club. So if you dip that out about 0.5 decibels, mono the bottom to taste, I usually go to about 74. You can get a lot more out of it once you start running it through a limiter. I'm using Goldfoss Hard. Wow, I must have just bought this thing. I think I saw a Decap YouTube video where he was like using it like this on his tracks and like 21%, and I just threw it on there. I wouldn't do this now, but this, like I said, I made this over a year ago. I could probably mix this better now. I don't advise this decision, but if it gets you there and that's where you're at, do it. It's fine. There's no rules. And we're going into God particle. See, I usually like to be hitting all these bands. This is an interesting track, man. It almost sounds better not mixed right, because I have a few versions. I was trying to mix it recently, and I couldn't get it to sound good. It sounds better mixed wrong. But I got a little glue on the master. Yeah, and a little glue, Ableton glue compressor, probably to get some loudness. It worked on this one. Clipping through there too. And then these are my L2 settings for this. Not my best mix, but it works for this, and it works for this genre, and I'm happy with it. That's my latest release, Dark Room by Jawn Doe. Thanks for hanging out. Hope you learned something. Hope you liked it. Hope it was inspiring. Come back next week. Like and subscribe, because we got lots of content. If you want to learn how to mix, make IDM, maybe some hip hop. This is your channel, man. I'm putting it all out there. Thanks for hanging out.